math review video from today's math lesson where we had to convert our money, like change quarters, dimes, pennies, into the decimal form. Make sure that you are really paying attention and figuring out the strategy and watching how I'm doing this, because today when you solve the math problems on today's exit ticket, you're going to have to use the same strategy. So if you get to that and you get confused, come back, watch this video again, watch how I'm solving it, and that should help you out. First thing that I noticed today, guys, it says give in decimal form. Some of you were just writing it in money. Like I shouldn't see 80 cents or $2.36. I shouldn't see dollar signs, and I shouldn't see the word cents or the cent sign, okay? It wants decimal form, so you need to just write it as a decimal. So first thing, 2 quarters and 3 dimes. Well, some of you might need a reminder. A quarter is worth 25 cents. So I'm going to put my 2 quarters into parentheses. So that's 0.25, because I know a quarter is worth 25 cents, plus 0.25. Now, if you were saying this as a decimal, you could also say it as 25/100ths, right? Now, I'm keeping them in my parentheses because I know that I actually need to add up those 2 quarters separately, then add up my 3 dimes. This word "and" is acting as an addition, is telling you that you're going to add these together. So anytime you see "and" in these kind of problems, that means you are adding them together. 3 dimes. I know a dime is worth 10 cents, or as a decimal, 0.1 or 1/10. So I'm going to do that 3 times. Now I know that 25 cents plus 25 cents, this one's easy because I know 2 quarters equals 50 cents. So I'm going to write that as 5/10, or you can even add the 0 in as 50 hundredths if that makes more sense to you. You're going to add, so that dollar or that addition sign is going to come right down. 1/10 plus 1/10 plus 1/10 is 3/10, or 30 hundredths if that makes more sense to you. You can always add the 0 in, guys, okay? Whatever makes the most sense to you. Now I need to add those up. Well, I know that 50 plus 30, or 5 plus 3 is 8. Add my 0, add my decimal point, and it's 8/10. Okay, guys? Next one, 1 quarter, 7 dimes, 23 pennies. Okay, this time we're going to have to think like a math student, right? We want to work smarter, not harder. So I'm not going to write out 0.01 23 times, right? That's silly. We don't need to do that. So we're going to write it out as a decimal in decimal form. So I know a quarter is 0.25 or 25 hundredths. Then I'm going to add 7 dimes. Well, I know that if I have 7 dimes, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, that's 70 cents. So I know that that really is 0.7, right? A dime is worth 10, so it's going to go in the tens place. So I know that 7 dimes means 7/10. Then I'm going to add, now 23 pennies. That's just going to be 23/100ths, right? Because in order to make one whole, you have to have 100 pennies. So we're dealing with hundreds. So whatever the amount of pennies I have is always just going to be a decimal. So in this case, it'd be 23 pennies to be a decimal point, 23. Okay? Then I have to add these up. So you have to come over and set this up like a standard addition problem. So here's my 25 hundredths. Here's my 23 hundredths. Here's my 7/10. Now the sunning always adds her 0 in because that makes more sense to her, right? It keeps things nice and neat. But again, if you don't want to add the 0, you don't have to. I just think that's good practice. I'm going to add them up. So again, my quarter, my 7 dimes, and my 23 pennies. That's what these 3 numbers are that I'm adding up. 5 plus 3 plus 0 is 8. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 7, that's 11. Okay, now here's the tricky part. Am I going to bring that decimal point straight down? No, I am not. I have 118. So what that really is representing is 118/100ths. That's my fraction if I'm going to write it. Well, we know that 1 whole is 100/100ths, right? When your top number, your numerator, and your bottom number, your denominator are the same, that gives you a whole. So really, I have 1/18/100ths left over. So when I look at this, I know that that decimal point is going to go right between my 2 ones because I have 1 whole. I made a whole, right? 100 pieces of 118 makes 1 whole, and then I have 18 left over, so that's the 18/100ths that go here. Hopefully that makes sense. But just think about it like change, guys. If I have a quarter, 7 dimes, and 23 pennies, I know I'm gonna have $1.18. So if it makes more sense to think of it like money, you can do that. All right, last one. This is the trickier one, and this is what your math today is gonna be like, okay? So $2, 1 quarter, and 14 pennies plus $3, 2 quarters, and 3 dimes. So we have to do quite a little bit of math here. The first one, $2. So I'm gonna put 2.00, right? Because that's $2 or 2 wholes with no fraction, right? I'm gonna kind of cross that off so that I know I use it. 1 quarter, well I know that's 0.25 because that's what 25 cents looks like, right? 25 100ths, I use that. 14 pennies. Again, I'm not going to write out 14.01s. I know that it's just going to be 0.14, or you could also say at 1400ths. Okay, that's one part. Down here, $3 plus 2 quarters. Well, I know 2 quarters is 50 cents, but if that doesn't make sense to you, you can go ahead and write 0.25 plus 0.25, whatever makes sense to you. Hopefully you know off the top of your head though that 2 quarters is 50 cents. Then I have 3 dimes, which I know is going to be 0.3 or 3/10 because 10, 20, 30, right, for my dimes. Now I have to add up both of these, then add them together. I have to come up with my total. Now my $2, I'm going to just do it with the addition problem, right? So I have, there's my decimal point, 2.00. Then I'm going to add. Now you have to make sure that you are lining up. Actually, let me send and get a different color marker so that we can see what I'm doing here. Make sure that you are lining this up. Those decimal points you have to line up. So I have $2, which I'll cross off so I know I used it. Then I'm going to have 25 cents, which I'm going to cross off. Then I have 14 cents, right? Now this is just the total for that very first spot, like the very first number in our equation we're figuring out right now. So I have $2, so I have 0 plus 5 plus 4, I know is 9. 0 plus 2 plus 1 is 3. I'm going to bring down that decimal point and the 2 comes down. So this first total is $2.39. Okay? Now I have to come down and solve this number, right? I have to figure out how much is $3 and 2 quarters and 3 dimes. So again, I'm going to come over here, I'm going to add it up. So there's my $3, cross it off because I used it. Now I know that that 2 quarters is 50 cents, so I'm just going to write 0.5 or 5/10, save myself a step. Now if you don't know, if you're like, I don't know what 2 quarters is, that's okay. Then that means it's just going to have to add an extra 0.25 in. So there's my 50 cents, and here's my 3 dimes. Now, Miss Dunning continued to add her zeros in, right? I didn't have to, but it just makes more sense to do it like that. So I know I have 0, 5 plus 3 is 8, bring down that decimal point, and the 3 comes right down. So I know for my second number that I'm adding, it's going to be $3.80 or 3 8/10. Now, I am not done yet. Excuse me. I've done all of this work, but I still have to add. I had to just find the total here, and then I have to add those 2 numbers together. So now, to finish this off, I have to find what the total is of $3.80 plus $2.39. 0 plus 9 is 9, 8 plus 3 is 11, bring down my 1, carry my 1, I'm going to bring that decimal point straight down so that all stays in a nice row. 1 plus 3 is 4, add 2, 5, and 6. So my total all together for down here is $6.19. Okay? So make sure when you're doing these problems today, guys, especially this last one that was longer, that's what most of your math is going to be like today. Get yourself a piece of scrap paper. Take your time. Do not rush. If you need to watch this video again so that you see the strategies that I used and watch me walk you through it step by step, do that. Okay, guys? We got to stick with it. All right. Hope that helps. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.